My dearest Antonia, can you tell us a little bit about your son, Blessed Carlo Acutis? Tell us about your son.
Okay, so let's say that Carlo, as you know, was beatified in 2020 and was not so long the beatification course, because you know that normally before to beatify somebody, sometimes it can also pass century and century, no? But with Carlo, I must say that the things were very speedy. And I think that the reason is because Carlo was very simple. His spirituality was very simple, a little bit like the one of Saint Teresa of Jesus, the little Jesus, no? He lived the 7 virtues heroically, and this is the reason why he was beatified. Because you know, you can have 1,000 of apparition, 1,000 of special gift, but if you don't live heroically these 7 virtues, it's very important to say this, because this is something that is also for us, for our son, our daughter, our nephews, etc. Because the church declares somebody venerable, and then there is a miracle, the church beatify this person, and then after, if there is another miracle, canonize this person, basically because of the life, of the virtues of this person. What is a virtue? Is a stable attitude of our will to do good things. This is our treasure, the way we love God overall, and the way we will love Jesus and our neighbors, our friends, our brothers, is our treasure for the eternal life. Because of course, the more we will love people, the more and God, the more we will have a very high level of beatitude, close to Jesus, to God. It's very important to say this, because why? Because Carlo used to say that the Eucharist was his highway to heaven. And you know, Eucharist is, what is it, Eucharist? It's the real presence of God among us. And in the Eucharist, we find what? We find the source of love. Because as the Gospel of St. John says to us, Jesus, God is love, no? And so in the Eucharist, we found the source of this love. And Carlo used to say that when we eat the Eucharist, before our body digests this bread, no? It passes more or less 15 minutes. In that moment, it's a special moment because we have God inside us. It's something incredible. And what does it mean to have God? That He transfigurates us, He purifies us. Even if we are distracted, we think to other things, we are not so fervent. But Jesus acts inside us. And Carlo used to say that each time we take Eucharist, we are not more the same person. Carlo did his first Holy Communion when he was 7 years old. And since then, each day he used to go to Mass, to do Eucharistic adoration, either before or either after the Mass, and never less than 30 minutes. Consider that Carlo had special relation with the purgatory souls, and he used to do also this Eucharistic adoration that that you can have indulgencia plenaria, it's called. When you do 30 minutes of Eucharistic adoration. So he used to apply this merit, this indulgency for the soul of the purgatory. So Carlo used to say that if people could understand the importance of the Eucharist, there would be so many queues in front of the tabernacle, that and so many queues to enter inside the church that it would be merely impossible to enter inside. So there is a lack, unfortunately, of conscious about the gift that God gave us in the Blessed Sacrament. And this was the reason why Carlo did this exhibition on Eucharistic miracles that was displayed all over the world, is continuing to travel all over the world, that create a chain of good, because first of all, during this exhibition, we had conversion of people, we had some miracles, but also because it helps other people to get involved in this sort of to spread love for Jesus in the Eucharist. Of course, Carlo was always saying that if we are in a desert and there is no water and we are so thirsty, we want to drink, but we don't find anything. At a certain moment, we found a source of fresh water. But in our pocket, we have only a little grass. No, we can take this water, but unfortunately, the amount is very small. But if you go with a big pan, and then we take a lot of water, and then we can also give to other people. No, is the same things when we receive the Eucharist. So this is the reason why Carlo used to say the Eucharist is the highway to heaven, because with the Eucharist you do so speed the path. I mean, you are so speed in the path of sainthood, because Jesus works inside you. Jesus transforms you. Jesus makes you a new person, no? And you always more will be like Jesus say, be perfect like I am perfect. No, we are at the image of God, and so the more we will eat Eucharist, the more we will become what in the idea of God we should have been. He used to say mostly three things. In front of the sun, we become tan, no? But in front of Jesus, we became holy. And he used to say that when we start to do Eucharistic adoration, sometimes it will be at the beginning very difficult, no? Because our mind will go up and down, and we will be distracted from thoughts. But little by little, God will help us, little by little, with with time. But God will give you sign. You don't have to fear. Even at the beginning, is difficult. Anyway, Carlo was always saying that when we do Eucharistic adoration, is like when we are in a dark room. And suddenly it came from outside a ray of light. And when it happens this, that the shadows of the darkness goes a little bit away. But you see with this ray, you can see the dust in the air, And this is what happened to us. Because from ourselves, we cannot see the dust. We cannot see this dust. But we need the light of God. And God help us to intercept, to see what is wrong with us, to help us to change, to purify what is wrong with us. The reason why he did this exhibition on Eucharistic miracles was because he did the catechism. He was a catechist. Since from 11 years old, he started to help catechists. Then, because he was very prepared, he was very smart because he used to know, he had a special gift with the memory. He reminded all the Bible. He read the Catholic catechism, so he was very well prepared. And so the catechist, from being help of catechist, he became catechist till he died in 2006. So 5 years of catechism he did. And through these lessons he used to do and he prepared, he also understood the big problem that people didn't understand the importance of the Eucharist. And he realized, because most of the children go to catechism, then after they leave, they start not to go anymore to church, and they are not so inflamed of Jesus. No, they don't have this love. No, you don't see them because there is cold. We are cold sometimes. And what happened to Carlo, that he realized this. So he was inspired. He said that he had an inspiration to do this exhibition on Eucharistic miracles.
So I'm kind of thinking about Blessed Carlo. He was, a 15-year-old boy who was very normal. Like, he played computer games. He liked to play soccer. He came from just a human family. What are some of the influences that helped Carlo become who he became?
He became extraordinary because everything he used to do was in Jesus, for Jesus, and with Jesus. So this very close life with the sacrament, especially the Blessed Sacrament, also used to confess each week. He used to do the exam of his conscience each day, the night. Mm-hmm. And he used to have a paper in which he write, how do I behave with my parents? Did I do the good things I could do that God gave me the possibility, but I prefer to do other things? How do I behave with my classmates? So Carlo used to do really an effort because he wanted to please God. He wanted to be always, when he did his first Holy Communion, he wrote, to be always united with God. This is my goal, my life program.
Do you have any thoughts on how many young men, many boys now are almost married to, the violent computer games? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, no, definitely. Because when Carlo was young, when at 8 years old, they gave us as a present the PlayStation. And Carlo, now we speak about the virtue again, had the virtue of temperance. So he, by himself, imposed not to use the video games more than 1 hour per week.
1 hour per week?
Yes.
Oh. That is a saint. There is a saint.
No, listen. But then he didn't play anymore when he was growing because he didn't like. But anyway, and of course, what were his games? Super Mario, car racing, but not violent things. Why these young people do this? Because the temperance, the virtue of temperance. If the television, of the computer, or these video games became the babysitter, the substitution of the babysitter, mm-hmm. and the mother and the father don't give at the beginning because Carlo was alone, okay. But Carlo was special because probably God had some special programs on his life and helped him also because he took each day the Eucharist. As I told you before, mm-hmm. The Eucharist is like a weapon against all these things, no? Because Jesus is inside us. So, but anyway, unfortunately, most of these children don't go to Mass, don't pray never with the parents. So they should start, first of all, to pray together. They should preach more. They should bring them to sanctuary. They should ask prayers to the cloister nuns, cloister monks. Mm-hmm. They should do consecration together, because the consecration to the Immaculate Heart, the consecration to the Sacred Heart of Jesus makes a difference. And then they shouldn't leave the children. They should give some time. And the parents is entitled to be the teacher and the catechist of the children, first of all, not only the school, the parish, but the first catechist is the father and the mother. So if they leave the children to do these things, to watch what they want, to leave them alone, there is a parental control, for example. Put the parental control give some rules. Rules is to give rules means to love your children.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean to be bad. John Bosco used to say that when a tree is growing, if you make the tree grow since it's small, straight, it goes straight. But if it starts to be curved, and then when it's already grown, you want to make straight, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late. So the error is that since they are small, they should pray. You should pray with them. You should speak about hell, heaven, purgatory. You should read the stories of the mystic, of the saint, because God gives all this richness. And the apparition of the Virgin Mary, apparition like Lourdes, in which there were so many healing, people without the bones that had grown instantly grow bones. If you read, I mean, it's incredible the miracles that God performed.
Your son, he died suddenly, right?
Yes.
He was 15 years old, and I'm kind of imagining, your son is 15 years old, and 4 days later, he died. Now, how did you cope with that? From such a tragedy to now he's close to becoming a saint, but at that time you didn't know. So how did you deal with that? Just that, 4 days and boom.
Being there in that hospital while Carlo was stayed a few days, I saw so many mothers that organized because they were leaving the hospital practically, because this leukemia, unfortunately, sometimes they last years and years. So it's really a big cross. For me, the cross was very short, very sudden, because of course it lasts a few days. The leukemia of Carlo was the most terrible, which is very sudden, because the blast of the blood, suddenly they explode and they devastate you. But if you go, for example, to a blood analysis test the day before, you don't see. Mm-hmm. So it's something that now they told me, the doctor, that it's much easier to cure. But at the time of Carlo, it was impossible. But anyway, he had this little fever, and he told me, I will offer my sufferance for the Pope, for the Church, not to go to the purgatory, but to go directly to heaven. And I thought that because Carlo was very nice, joyful, he was always joking, playing. He was a very, very nice person, full of friends. Everybody he loves him. He never had problem with that. He was very generous, never speaking badly about anybody. Really was a very nice character, very open, very generous, always thinking about. But anyway, in that situation, of course, he knew that he was a sinner like everybody. Of course, he was in grace of God, because he used to go to attend Mass each day, to do Eucharistic adoration. He had a big life of prayer. So, but of course, the more you are saint, the more you see your defaults, unfortunately. And Carlos said these things. After 3-4 days, I mean, he had the sore throat, etc. But one morning he woke up and he was so tired that he couldn't move. And so I was very worried, So I said, what happens? Because it's a flu. And I called this ancient pediatrician that was a professor, that was a very famous doctor. And he suggested me to bring him straight away to the hospital, the pediatrics hospital, where he was before working. And so I took him, and they gave me straight away they did the test, and they saw that it was a leukemia, for how you say, fulminous leukemia. And so Carlo received the news as well, because it is from law that you have to say to also young people, minor people under 18 years old. So they communicated the news, And Carlo said with a smile, he saw the sky, I still remember, and he said, God woke up me. God woke up me, and he did a smile. He was always peaceful, never complaining, even if he had this tremendous pain. Then he was wallowing because this leukemia he had the chip up in the face. Because to breathe, something really terrible. But he always was thinking about the other people. And when the doctor asked him, how are you suffering? He always was saying the same. There are people who are suffering much more than I am. And always with a smile, never complaining. When he said to me, Mama, from here I won't go outside alive, but don't worry, I will give you many signs. After he died, I found a video in which he was saying, when I will weigh 70 kilos, my destiny is to die. You see and it's in a documentary that the Vatican produced about Carlo. You look up on the sky, and he smiled, like to say, it's my destiny. He was never scared about death, because for him it was like to become a butterfly. When from the worm you become a butterfly. The dead, we are like worms. When we die, we are butterfly. And all his life was centered in Jesus. So for him to die was to meet Jesus. But for me, were the poor mother, I couldn't say anything, because while I was in this situation, imagine that he was my only child. I had my 2 children after, because of the grace of Carlo. After 4 years, he died. So I lived 4 years without my only child. And I had a special, not a locution, interior locution, but a sort of like strong voice in my, like you hear, a music, that you cannot pass away from your brain. And this voice was saying, God has given, God has taken away, all will be blessed the name of God. These are the words of the book of Jobs, of the Bibles. Mm-hmm. So this was what
it kept on coming to your mind.
So I was ashamed also to complain, in a certain way. And after Carlo died, I went to the sanctuary of Saint Michael the Archangel, which is in a cave in the south of Italy, and where the Archangel Saint Michael appeared. It's a special place, really full of presence of angels, etc. Mm-hmm. And I went to do a sort of pilgrimage with my husband after he died. In November it was. And it was empty, really, the sanctuary. It was also cold. And I remember after the Mass of the afternoon, really, me and my husband were the only one in the church, And at a certain moment, I heard a voice. At least it was a locution, and that was saying, God, Carlo is in heaven. This is sufficient for you. And that's all. And for me, really, it's the confirmation, because heaven is the most, the most fantastic things you can have in life. And what could I say? Mm-hmm. I couldn't complain, no?
Yeah, no. Someone says your child is in heaven. Like, what do you want? Like, come on.
So I could even complain a little bit. Because I say, God, it's incredible.
Now, the other thing, Antonia, that really I want to ask you, because I read a lot about you and a lot about Blessed Carlo before this interview. It seems to me that there were a number of dreams that Carlos had, and there were a dream that you had that were mystical. They were supernatural. So Blessed Carlo saw your father in purgatory, and that's how he got the desire to pray for the souls in purgatory.
No,
and so maybe
not a dream. Was not a dream. It was an apparition.
Was an apparition. I'm sorry. No, forgive me. And then you had an apparition, or you had a dream, something that Carlo came to you after he died, and he said, "Don't worry, Mama." Can you tell us a little bit?
I didn't have any apparition. I only had dreams in which, because I was attempting my attempt to have their son or daughter after he died. Before I had never inquired myself why I didn't have other children, because I said, okay, God didn't give me. Probably it was like this. And when Carlo died, I started to inquire myself, because he was an only child. So I said myself, maybe I should try. No, I was 39 years old. I know a lot of women that have children late. No, and so I started to do my inquiries. I saw that I had a problem I never expected to have. So it was very, very a very tough period for me. But so I had that dream in which Carlo told me that I would become a mother of 2 children.
Also, he came to tell you that you were going to be in this dream. Oh, yes. That I didn't know. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Then I became pregnant. Then another dream I did, he said to me, don't worry, we can be beatified, we'll be beatified, and then I will be canonized. So these are my dreams. But the first part is realized. Then now we are running for canonization. We have many miracles. Of course, we hope that one of these, because the church is a little bit slow to analyze, because there are commission of doctors, and each type of healing has to be analyzed from special doctors that are specialized in that sector. So it's not easy. We have many miracles after the beatification. Also, before we had many miracles, we choose one, and we choose the one in Brazil, because Brazil is the nation with a higher rate of young people. So this is the reason why we choose Brazil, because Carlo is very Brazil. In Brazil, Carlo had a lot of devotees, especially among young people. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to give them the chance. No? He used to say that we are the throne of the Holy Spirit. He used to say that God has a throne, no? Chairs, how you say throne.
Yes.
And Jesus has a throne at his right side. But the Holy Spirit, the throne of the Holy Spirit is our heart. So we have to become the throne. So when we behave with impurity, really offend God. So he was always preaching, and he was against abortion, and he was always, he was very coherent with his faith. But his friend always, even if they were not sometimes of his same idea, but they respect him, because Carlo was reliable, was generous, always helpful, was so nice, and he never had problem. Especially he was never ashamed to display his faith, but with balance. He was never the elephant that entered inside the crystal room, It was always balanced, because the Holy Spirit give you the balance to say to know when to speak, when not to speak, when to. Because unfortunately, sometimes we tend to be a little bit aggressive, especially Catholic fervent, No, to me, I'm not so balanced.
I have to go on confession. Yeah.
Let's hope that we are not too aggressive anyway. Do not to scandalize too much.
I'm terrible. I'm the worst one.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We should really be very balance, because there is the Virgin of balance. We should pray always this Virgin Mary, because really it's difficult.
My spiritual director says, Dorothy, don't worry. Remember, Mother Mary was a Jewish mother, and Jewish mothers weren't always quiet, right? Oh my gosh! So
not so quiet, because if they were so quiet, nobody would have known about the resurrection.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. And in this culture, if you're not getting people's attention, you're going to be trampled, right? I really, really want to thank you for your time. Oh my gosh, you've been so generous. Do you have any message to mothers in Canada, in the US, in this generation where we're living in such a crazy culture and such a crazy world? Like, do you have a message for us mothers?
First of all, what happened to me, first, start to change yourself, no? Because you are the one that first has to change, the first one. Then when you will change, people around you will start to change as well. But change means to start to put God at the first place in your life. And if you are a mother, you have a big mission. And this mission, you will be judged from God, how you will transmit faith to your children. This is the first mission of a parent and a mother, not the other thing. First mission is faith, values, Catholic values, Christian values, what Jesus says. So first things is this one. Then all the rest comes after. But the first mission is to transmit faith to these children, because it's like a flower, your child. If you don't give water, this flower then become like this, no? And spiritually, if you don't give water to these children, the faith, they will be sad people. They will become sad in their life, because life without faith, you are sad. You think maybe you can be happy, but without faith, you really create a hell in our world. And unfortunately, people happy is people that has God as the first place. No, sadness, used to say Carlo, is the glaze over oneself. Happiness is the glaze over God. So this is the priority. So you should start straight away. Start to change with your children. I don't know, maybe there are mothers that their children are older, smaller. But the idea is to start as soon as possible, because never say it's late. And God will help you. Of course, it will be difficult if a child is already grown, because all the wrong things we did before.
The other thing I wanted to just, Antonia, I guess, to congratulate you is that, when I ask all of you here that are here today to please go to the website, carloacutis.com, because in that website, you're going to find so many beautiful resources. And one thing, when I looked at all of the photographs from your family life, was that your family also had a lot of fun, right? Your family traveled, your family had birthday parties, your family, Carlo wore costumes. Like, I always say to mothers that if your family life isn't fun, but it's always serious, you can't keep the children close to you, right? That the mother has to have fun, that the children have to have fun, and they have to see the beauty of life too. And so, Antonia, congratulations, because I saw lots and lots of fun.
Of course, first of all, we have to have a sense of humor, no? A good sense of humor. Yes. Because if we take ourselves too seriously, we risk to be sometimes very boring, but also I think the Christian should be joyful, no?
Yes.
And also confident on God, and be the example of joy, of peaceful, and also, there is no sin in doing some amusing things. No, important thing is to give the place, to the right place to the most important thing, which is God. Okay, then when you have God, then you don't do anything which is against God. No, some people love animals, some people do go like to go to bicycle, some people go like to do sports whatsoever, but important that God is always your priority. Then the rest is if he thinks that God allows, why not, huh? So it's good to be also, and not to be sad, no, also because if you are sad, you don't give a good example to the others, no. The Catholic should give an example, no?
Yes.
The example of the joy, of the peace, of the because we should always be, the mirror of God, and people seeing Catholic Christians should see, what a nice person, we should be an example.
Antonia, thank you very much for your time. We're honored to have you here, and please know that you're in our prayers. Thank you very much. It's an honor to have you here. Mwah.
So God bless you, and happy Easter for everything.